Uncuffed. I'm Brian. On this podcast, we'll talk about law enforcement, social networking platforms, and just life. Right off the bat, I got to apologize to the podcast side of this. I know on YouTube it's going to seem like I'm putting this out there at the correct time. Podcast, I'm actually a day late. Look, I got no excuse. Just life gets in the way sometimes and things run behind. So right off the bat, we're going to talk about, something we've been talking about for the last couple of times. Law enforcement's dropping out. You're getting tons of early retirements. There's one of them that's local that some of y'all may have heard from. I did an episode with him here a while back. His name's Daniel Arms with Arms Family Homestead. Last week, he went ahead and early retired at 14 years. Now, granted, he has another path to follow. He's got a huge following on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram. So, he's got the whole social network thing working really well. But there's many that are setting up their plans to early out. I just talked to one yesterday that's 3 years away, but he's got a way figured out where he can buy back time and probably do very little more time for 3 years to get his time in. Go ahead and early out. And who can blame him? Everybody's hands are tied. So here's the scary side of this is this Thursday, the next Highway Patrol Academy is graduating. And of course all these young men are young men and women. I really don't know the diversity of this class. They're very excited. This has been a dream for them. This is what they've always wanted to do. And I understand. I was excited too when I first started, but man, I can't imagine jumping into this now, the way things are, just because of so many restrictions, and many departments aren't backing their officers anymore. They're just kind of hanging out to dry just to save face for the department. Sorry about you. We need you to go do the job, but if you do it and something doesn't go exactly right, you're on your own. Which is really a scary proposition because I know what these guys have been through. They've been built up for, 18 weeks that, this is the greatest organization. We're right here behind you. We put you first. They can feed that to everybody, but the way things are changing so rapidly, I don't see how they're going to continue to be able to do that. Just because everybody's going to be under a spotlight, and no organization is going to take the hit for the one that could possibly damage the whole organization whenever you could just let the one take the hit. It's a scary time to be in law enforcement. And I'm not talking about the violence. I'm not talking about just the day-to-day stuff. I'm just talking about law being able to come after you for doing what you were taught to do, and then determine you were wrong for doing it that way. Well, that's what you were told to do. I don't know. It's just a bad situation to be in. So I mentioned Daniel with Arms Family Homestead right there. He's done. He's officially early retired out of Highway Patrol. He has that channel, Arms Family Homestead, and he's rolling. He's got 373,000 subscribers, and his Facebook following is huge. So for those of you who didn't know, you can monetize Facebook. It's crazy numbers. It's like 10,000 followers. You've got to have a wild amount of 1 minute views of at least 3 minute videos over like 30 days or 60 days. It's not much time to get it done in. He's accomplished it. And so, his biggest part of his money is now coming from YouTube and from sponsors and doing ads, just that kind of stuff, affiliate marketing. But YouTube, he's rolling on it too. He's bringing in not 5 figures on it, but he's just a little under. Now on YouTube, he's bringing in a solid 5 figures, and man, I couldn't blame you for leaving. Because here's a spot he gets put in. So he stays in and keeps doing the job. Offends somebody thinks they're wrongfully arrested or whatever, and they file a lawsuit because they know he's got money. Well, now, you're a target, just like anybody else. So No, I don't blame you for getting out. It's just not worth it. Now, that's not the main reason he got out. He was already looking at this over a year ago before any of this other mess started. He was already looking this direction and had already made a plan to get out. Just so happened all this popped up, and it just made his decision that much easier, simply because he he can see the dangers involved. So with that, with Facebook, yeah, you can monetize that. Well, so you're asking about Instagram, and the newest one, of course, is TikTok. They don't truly have a system set up like a YouTube where there's an AdSense. Facebook does. They've got their own ads, and they've got their own advertisement revenue coming in to pay you a portion of whatever is getting paid, so you can make money. TikTok is not that way. Now then, the other side of it is a 15-second to a 1-minute video. How many videos could you make in a day? I mean, you could make all your videos in an afternoon for a month. How simple. So from my understanding, the way they're getting paid on this is these people that are big hitters and they're getting tons of views on just everything they do. They're getting approached by companies to do advertisements, to talk about a product occasionally. And it works. These guys are making money. There's people actually out probably making a living off TikTok now. And it's not even a ad revenue. I mean, like, really put the little ads in your videos. I don't know, I've messed with TikTok. I'm not getting that kind of following on there. My big drive for putting up stuff on TikTok is doing the same thing I'm doing on the woodworking channel, and it's to drive traffic from there to YouTube. Now, can I say that it happens well? I don't know. I do know I drive quite a bit of traffic from Facebook to YouTube, simply because I put every video up that, hey, there's a new video up, so if you're following my YouTube channel, run over there and check it out. And that is a viable tool to use to get that done. Now, I do plan at some point to try to monetize Facebook. I do believe I have to have a bigger YouTube following to do that, because I don't even have 10,000 on YouTube yet. So I think you're probably going to have to make it really happen for you, you're going to have over 10, probably 15,000 subscribers on YouTube to let them know, hey, run over and check me out on Facebook, so you can get much of that same following on Facebook as you got on YouTube, and they can catch all your content as well on both of them. Here's the tricky part of that. Most of the time when people do this, they're putting the same thing on Facebook that they put on YouTube. The upside is I could do it, and I could put just a section of an old video, say on my first 3 or 4, and I'm over 100 videos on there. My first 3 or 4, well, now I can keep them separated enough that they're not looking at the same thing. Now, many of the people have watched these videos before, but it's going to be something older. They'll rewatch it. That is probably the viable plan, and something I'm going to try to do in the future. Of course, another way to look at it, you could put different content on Facebook than you put on YouTube and get the following both ways. Yeah, but you're looking at more time. I've already got these videos made, so why would I do such? I can go back in and re-edit them, cut them way down to 5 minutes or whatever Facebook is requiring. Obviously, I don't know 100% because I haven't researched it that much, but you get that down to that, and I can use the same content on both, make money off the same videos that I'm already making. I mean, what a great setup. So Instagram and TikTok, I think they're along the same route. I don't think there's an advertisement source for Instagram either, but they do have Instagram videos. You do the same thing. You can make a full-length video for YouTube, take a section of it for Facebook, take a section of it for TikTok, and take a section of it for Instagram. So there you're getting views on all of them, and it just drives traffic to your main source. That is probably the easiest way. I do not do it every time. I have accounts on every one, and occasionally hit Instagram and TikTok. Don't do it nearly as often as I have to or I need to, and if I would do so more, I think it would drive me more traffic. Now, it's something I'm going to work on. I am pretty excited about it now because I actually have a new internet service that I can upload all these videos from home. Before, I was having to leave home to go upload any of my videos at my church because their internet worked so much better. I couldn't upload a 30-minute video, which is usually my podcast. I would upload a 30-minute video here, took 22 hours, and you could not mess with our internet for that 22 hours. Well, that's just not reasonable because, I mean, we're fixing to drop DirecTV. We're fixing to just start doing a streaming service, and that is it. That's all the TV we're going to have because it's so much cheaper. And you can get everything that you watch anyway for, a fraction of the cost. So we're going to go that route. We're going to cut the cord. So that better internet plays twofold. It allows us to do that and have a solid stream coming in and don't have to worry about many interruptions with this new cable-based internet. Before we were using a wireless system, and so bad weather would knock out your internet. High winds would knock out your internet. Some days if it was just too sunny, I think, it'd knock out your internet. Sure felt that way. And of course, as all of us see, we see that protests are still ongoing. They don't appear to be quite as violent as they have been here in the past, but they are still popping up all over the place. And of course, the pandemic. Many places are completely shutting back down. We currently have two cities in Oklahoma, two large cities, Tulsa and Norman, that require face masks everywhere. You leave home, you better have a face mask. And they've signed fines to them. Again, wouldn't want to be in the law enforcement's shoes on this deal. I mean, would you really want to be citing people for not wearing their face mask? I mean, that's just odd. Now, do I think it's reasonable? Sure. I mean, I'm not one of these big conspiracy theorists. I don't believe that the government's done this to keep Trump out of office and all this other stuff you hear. Here's why I don't believe it. I've got a family member that has been tested positive. It's a real deal. He tells me he's sick. I've got a brother that's in the medical field that's a medic. He sees it firsthand. I know many medics that see it firsthand, and they know exactly how it works and what it's doing to people. Now, do I think we can get overexcited about it? Sure. I mean, I don't think you need to go to the extremes and just hole up in your house and never get out. But I do think everybody needs to be more careful. I mean, especially where we're at. We're in South Central Oklahoma. And honestly, many times you can go to our town and you would think nothing's going on. Nobody's wearing them. It's a tourist town. Of course, our cases have just climbed since summer is starting. Everybody's wanting to travel. Come down to our lake, come down to our national park, come down to our national water park, or our natural water park, not our national one. And I mean, I don't blame them for wanting to get out of the house, but come on, use a little social distancing, because they don't. My wife and I drove down through one of the landings on the lake on 4th of July weekend. Wow. The number of people that were out there shoulder to shoulder in water and just shooting the bull, chatting it up, playing, wrestling, whatever, was astounding. And then if they were up on the beach, they were just gathered together, about 30 people. Well, you're asking for it. And here's the other thing. A lot of these people were coming from Texas, which we all know is exploding with the pandemic, and Oklahoma City, which is our second largest source now. It used to be our first, but I'm thinking Tulsa has passed it, not sure. But a better example, even our governor has tested positive. Now, he's not one of the ones that were down at the lake, shoulder to shoulder partying and all that stuff. But that just goes to show that, it's reach. He has been careful. Every press conference you can see him wearing a mask. But obviously that everybody that comes in and out of that Capitol, they go have a life outside that, and clearly one of them came in contact and gave it to him. Now, he's not deathly ill. He said he feels a little bit of the symptoms of it. And the amazing thing of it is even though he knows firsthand how this stuff acts, how easy it is to catch, and how bad it makes you feel, he's still not going to make it a statewide mandate to wear a mask. That's cool. I mean, I get that. I don't feel like you should have to wear it everywhere, but here's what I don't have a problem. I don't have a problem with any business requiring you to, because you know you can refuse the right to serve anybody. So I have zero problems with people, businesses saying nope. Walmart, Walmart, Sam's Club, all over the nation has decided that everybody's going to have to wear them if you come in their store. Great, because those are usually the busiest places around. I think that alone, just Walmart, will help this whole thing. Simply because that is our largest store in this area. That's the largest store in many areas in Oklahoma, because that's where everybody goes to get their groceries, all their supplies, anything. So I think that alone is probably going to make a huge difference. I think large outlet stores like that, if they would all require people wear masks in their store and still try to keep your social distance. Let's just do both. I'm just not a big conspiracy theorist. I mean, I have no problems with rules. So obviously, since I was a trooper for 20 years, but I think that we ought to just do our best at it and not think that it's some big conspiracy that's trying to throw Trump off of the presidency. I mean, I don't know. There are just many theories out there, and some of them are just laughable. But on the other side of that, I don't think you need to run around scared. I mean, I don't think you need to run around being afraid to go do things if you take the correct precautions. I mean, we still have to go to the grocery store a couple times a week. We do so, and we do our best at it. We're not trying to catch it, but if we do, I mean, we did what we could. Yeah, okay, let's jump back over in that section that I usually do when I'm alone. Don't take any of this following information as legal advice. Don't think it's going to take you to court and get you out of anything because of something I've said on here. This is the opinion of a retired state trooper. So I can promise you it's not going to hold any water in court. If you need true legal advice, please consult an attorney. So my first one I got, came off of a phone call, is reckless driving a felony. Well, no. It's a misdemeanor in most instances. Now then, can you do stuff in a car that is reckless that could lead to a felony conviction? Sure. I mean, the whole idea of reckless driving is you're driving in a wanton manner where you take no regard for anybody else's safety, which means, you're doing 100 plus miles an hour, or you're just swerving lane to lane in and out of traffic madly and coming close over and over. Well, yeah, that's reckless. So yeah, it can be turned that way, but as the general no, it's a misdemeanor, which, I mean, what led me to ask a few questions. What's going on? Because if you're asking me this, and of course it was one of those, it's for a friend. Well, sure it is. Okay, so the next one here is, we know there's a law in place about cell phone usage while going down the road, texting and driving. Why is this not being enforced? Well, I've kind of covered this a little before. This is a tough one. Now, I mean, now whenever I'm driving around as a private citizen, I see it all the time. You can see them holding the phone up and reading. And I stopped a few of them over the years, but the hard thing is catching it. Because, I mean, if they're just looking down for a second and they swerve a little bit, I mean, you can tell when people are messing with the phone and driving because they're doing a nice little weave, a nice swerve. But to actually get up there, require them to show you their phone, well, they don't have to. They don't have to. No, it's my private property. I don't have to show you my phone. You have a warrant. And that's truly what it takes, is a warrant for me to get in there and look at your phone and prove that you weren't on it. So the side of that is here's the way you got to take it. If they're too obstinate, if they don't want to do it, and they're so bent on not letting you see anything or see what's been going on their phone, I don't care about the content. Whenever I get up there and ask them for it and I wanted to show me what they've been doing the last 10 minutes, well, you could see what the text messages were, what the phone calls were. So if you don't want to do that at all, if I felt it was warranted, I'd go ahead and just write you the ticket, because if we go to court, by then I'll have got the warrant and pulled all your records to show that you were on the phone at that time that I specified that I witnessed an infraction. So That's why you don't see much enforcement, because it is a lot of stuff to do for a ticket. And like I said before, I think they ought to just require phone companies to make phones where they didn't operate in certain instances. You could not do texting after like 5 miles an hour. And you know they can do it because, you know, they can have real-time tracking on with maps and tell you exactly how to get places. So you know they can tell how fast that phone's in motion and just make it to where that function doesn't work, or it does you no good to mess with it. You know, I did read a study one time that said that people deeply involved in a conversation on a phone is almost as bad as texting. Simply because you get in deep in thought in that conversation and you're not thinking about what's going on in the outside world. You're thinking about what you're talking about and you're visualizing what you're talking about. You're not paying attention to what everybody's doing. Now, texting truly takes your eyes off the road, which I find to be more dangerous. But, I mean, that's exactly why commercial trucks, they can't hold the phone up to their head and talk on it going down the highway. They got to be hands-free. So many of them wear headsets, or they do it over some kind of system where they can just talk in the cab. But I think we need to go somewhere like that with just everybody. I think that texting just needs to be wiped off of it by just making it where it does not function after a certain speed, and make it to where you have to be hands-free talking on the phone. I don't think it's a bad idea. Now, is it going to be a hard one to pass? Yeah. You're probably not going to get it passed in your state anytime soon. There's going to have to be tons of studies showing how dangerous it is and how many wrecks it's led to and how many lives it's cost. And that's generally how you get things changed, the cost of life. Okay, so the next one I'm going to assume is coming from a little town near us called Davis. It says, aren't trains required to clear crossings within like 10 to 15 minutes? I actually think it's like 15 to 20 that they can block an intersection at a train crossing before they can be fined. Well, yeah, there is a number on that. And if this is somebody from Davis, I've got bad news. The city of Davis has enforced this so many times against Burlington Northern and Santa Fe that Burlington Northern and Santa Fe went to the state, and it has now been done where they can no longer write them a ticket for blocking the road. So those guys can sit there indefinitely and block traffic, which, you know, is ridiculous. I agree. But they've written these fines so many times, which the fine's like $10,000, something crazy, every time they do this. And they've done it so often that Burlington Northern's complaining got it to where they couldn't write them tickets anymore. You know, I mean, I don't know what to tell you other than money talks. And that's just it. They're a huge corporation. They are a big cash cow. So, yeah, you're not going to beat that one. If you're in a town where that just does it occasionally and the ticket is written occasionally, I don't think they'd say much. I think they just pay it, go on, move on down the road. But if there's someplace like Davis where it happens weekly, at least once a week, and it blocks traffic for, you know, from 15 to 30 minutes, well, yeah, it's irritating. There is a go around. Now, everybody doesn't need to rush down to that go around because it's a little 2-lane road and it wouldn't handle the traffic. But that's what they're pushing it to by not allowing them to fine them anymore. So this one's going to be a little bit shorter than normal. Got other stuff I got to do today, and then you'd think I was a retired guy and I had all the time in the world. Not true. Not true. I've got a ton of stuff to do. But if you guys haven't run over and checked out, see what I talked about, Arm Family Homestead, go check him out. You'll enjoy his channel. He's always doing something different on there. Farm animals, his garden, fishing. He's currently getting that shop together. Just tons of stuff. And of course he's got all this livestock, his kids. It's just an interesting channel. Go check them out. And if you hadn't run over and checked out my Smokey CNC Woodworks, which is something I've got to go do today, is I've got to go cut stuff on the old CNC machine. That's part of why I'm busy. Got a bunch of orders to do. If you hadn't gone over and checked out Smokey CNC Woodworks, run over there and check it out. See what I've got going on there. And, you know, if you're interested, sub. If not, cool. I get it. I mean, not everybody likes everything that I like. So just go check it out. If you guys hadn't checked out SmokeyUncuffed.com, www.SmokeyUncuffed.com. Run over there and check it out. I've got a lot of links on there to a lot of products that I use, a lot of stuff that I use for podcasting. I've got stuff for Smokey CNC Woodworks, and I've got all my podcasts on there. So if you don't have a place to listen to it, you can listen to it there. And if you want to watch it, come over to YouTube and watch it. I have a channel on here that I record these things on video, as well as just doing an audio. That way you can pick up this content however you like. So guys, that's going to be about it for today. If y'all haven't done so yet, please subscribe, and I'll see y'all and hear y'all next time.